This is Mr. Gibbons again. I was at the Library of Congress down in Washington, D.C. the other day, and I ran into this guy, Jacob. They were serving tea and a little snack on Fridays. They do it on Fridays. And he asked me about education and should men, go into education because there's a quota to get men into education. Um, and when I told him, education is a gorgeous field. It's a beautiful field. And the problem with education is what Mr. Gibbons, ran into a criminal organization in a public school system. And as I've been talking about Miami-Dade County public school system, people, I'm not bad mouthing Miami-Dade County public schools. I'm not bashing them. I'm just pretty much stating what happened. These are facts. They formed a criminal organization, which is, in essence, is a terrorist group, and they took over territory and property. Um, and when I told them that any job can be made a horrible place to work, depending on the employees or the so-called boss or management or supervisor, what have you. And so that can happen across the board in any job. As I told him, Mr. Gibbon had the greatest time teaching ever. Um, and I told him some of the experiences that I had. He was very in tune to listening, and he wanted some information on how to advise other males as far as going into education. And I told him it's a beautiful field. Um, I had nothing but the best. But, I ran into a criminal organization down in Miami-Dade County Public Schools in Hialeah. The Cubans got very arrogant and ignorant. And I do understand their arrogance because somebody understood that the people who deem themselves powerful and authoritative are actually false people, be it Congress, FBI, CIA. Now I have to get on the military behind to get them down there to shut Miami-Dade County public school system and regain control over territory that were taken over by a terrorist group. And the guy Jacob up in the Library of Congress, I'm not going to tell you what area he worked in, but he asked about information about elementary education. I told him that's the foundation, and if that foundation is strong, then that child will have more of a likely chance of being successful. But you can only do so much as you can when you have children and you're present and you're teaching them. After they leave you, it's in somebody else's hand. And as I told him, one of the biggest problems is administration, principals, assistant principals trying to be authoritative, I'm trying to get that word out, unnecessarily. And that happened in so many different workplaces. People trying to flex power really that they don't have. And that's what I ran into. I mean, the first 10, 12 years it was fine until a group of criminals came in and tried to be bigger than what they are. And so the education field is fine. It's just that you have a few ignorant people in the industry that screws everything up as with any other business. And another thing that I said is that if ever David Gibbons builds a school it would have to be from K through 12. Every so-called principal, counselor is required to teach children. There will be no one sitting on their behind collecting welfare. If you're not teaching children, pretty much you're not in the schools. Real simple as that. Because everybody in that school will have a responsibility to teach children. And the children will be evenly distributed, meaning there will be no gifted class, no this class. You will pretty much have a class that is diverse in their academic abilities, and every teacher will have pretty much the same group of kids. No one will have a group of kids who are pretty much well adjusted to learn on their own, so that you're under the same type of pressure that every other teacher is. And again, I have so much to say about education, and this is pretty much an impromptu um, thought, not really an impromptu because I've already thought about it. But I just had a great conversation with Jacob up in the Library of Congress in Washington D.C. the other day, and I'm very proud to have my library card from the Library of Congress. That's really sweet. Kind of like that one. As I do with all my library cards. Again, this is Mr. Givens. Much love to my beautiful girls and their parents and the superpower of the human race, people. Yes, it is a girl. This is Mr. Givens, the superior intellectual, athlete, human being ever to exist. And I can endure because I have a lot to protect. As the Secret Services protect the White House and whatever they think is important in there, FBI protect whatever Miami-Dade is protecting, I have something greater to protect. And it's for the entire human race. And so again, Mr. Givens is not going to commit no crimes to screw up my girl's inheritance, my inheritance, the entire human race inheritance. And as I've told people, it is already out. My family know about it. Cuban's family know about it. Christina Rivera, Unalis Canales, Anna De Cristo, Yolanda Solis, Deborah Stokes, Luana Powell, Florida Department of Education, Miami Herald. So they know all about the corruption down in Miami-Dade County Public Schools, the crime, Hialeah Police Department. So it's nothing new. You know, the world, you all are 4 years behind. And you got a lot of catching up to do. And again, as I said, you know, my beautiful girls, I never teach anybody in a classroom setting unless it's you all. But I do have to teach the world. And again, I like to show my beautiful girls continental planetary globes. That will be the new feature statues that everybody will have, pretty much their own, so they don't have to go around and pay to see it. They have to pay to make it, but not to see it. And they're beautiful people. Once you create them on your own, then you will truly appreciate it, just like I appreciate my college degree that I went and got, that I earned. And again, people, you know, there's just a few people in this world trying to be bigger than what they are. As I said, the ignorance of men and women has been so blatant and so unintelligent that the Creator put the entire human race under a child, and that is child is a girl. And so I would not throw her inheritance away. It is Unalis Canales, it's the Cubans, and the blacks, it's the multicultural terrorist group. It is their right to be in front of the world as a terrorist group. When you came to America for certain things, and one of those things is to be in front of the world as a criminal organization, just as I've put you out there. And said, one of the things I told somebody is that one thing is almost greater than death is humiliation, because humiliation stays with you forever. That means that your credibility is shot. That people are going to look at you forever as being a fraud and a liar. And so death is sometimes greater than being called out as a fraud. And you have to live with that forever in your existence. As the city of Miami-Dade County Public School System, not the people. See, people, y'all got to get it, be able to separate things. There's a big difference between the city and the actual people. There's just a group of people who are protecting their behinds, who got caught up in stupidity. And again, it's nothing new. It's 4 years old. And the world has to catch up. And this is a very powerful history. And as Miami-Dade separated themselves from David Givens, Miami-Dade County Public School System, you have to be separated from the United States. And I'm not going to go into detail what I'm talking about. That's why I've said military with armored tanks, evacuate my girls and their parents, not only from Miami, but the state of Florida. Because the Florida Department of Education, those people, you know, cover it up. So I respect everybody's ignorance. As Mr. Gibbons said, I chose not to be ignorant. I am the intellectual that I always wanted to be. Much love to my beautiful girls. Y'all are so good.